So I was recently making a video about Ocarina of Time and the resulting three branching timelines. And while making this video, I realized something. Ganon was right. Okay, so hear me out. There are three timelines caused in Ocarina of Time depending on what happens in that game. Not happens by your playthrough, but what happens in universe. So one thing that can happen is Ganon wins, resulting in the dark timeline. You lose. You lost the game. You lost Ocarina of Time. You didn't succeed. So this is the bad ending, essentially. I'm going to argue this is the best ending throughout this video. Now, it's not good, obviously. Link dies for one. Ganon gets the entire Triforce, takes it to the Sacred Realm, which turns into the Dark Realm. Now, a bit of an aside before you come at me in the comments. I understand Ganondorf is the human, Ganon is the pig monster. I'm just going to simplify it, use Ganon whenever I'm referring to any Ganon-like Ganondorf entity. Okay? So, although things seem bleak, as far as Hyrule goes, Ganon just kind of leaves, it seems, and kind of leaves Hyrule alone, and things don't seem so bad. From Hyrule's perspective, this is the best ending. The next game is Link to the Past. The kingdom's intact. Seems to be intact for hundreds of years. You go through several games. It has states of decline, but Hyrule itself, this is the best ending for Hyrule. Now, the next two endings are called, or timelines are called, the child's timeline and the adult timeline. Now, these, to me, are a little bit of misnomers. And a little confusing, but just to keep things hopefully a little simple, I'm going to skip the child's timeline for now and go into the adult timeline. The adult timeline is the worst possible ending, which I'll get to in a second, but to keep things on track, the adult timeline is the canon, I'm going to say, ending to Ocarina of Time, kind of. So what this means is you beat the game, you beat Ocarina of Time, those events happened. That's an important term. And Zelda returns Link to the past because he basically missed his childhood. She wants him to have an opportunity to go back to the past, experience his childhood, experience a normal life. Now, this is a huge mistake. It does two things. For one, it creates the child's timeline. But two, it totally ruins this timeline. So you just won the game. Now, in this timeline, the hero is gone. The hero vanishes. The hero no longer exists. The hero went to a new timeline, went to the child's timeline. This timeline has no hero. So when the seal breaks and Ganon returns, there's no hero to oppose him. He completely destroys the kingdom of Hyrule. Everyone dies. Well, pretty much everyone dies. The kingdom is destroyed. The gods flood the world to stop Ganon because there was no hero. Think about this. This is the win. You won Ocarina of Time, and so this is the win. This is the direct consequence of you winning and Zelda sending Link to the past. This is the worst possible result. This is catastrophic. I think because Wind Waker is such a great game, it's easy to not think about the fact that this is the worst possible result. This is way worse than Ganon winning. Everything's destroyed. Everything's gone. Apocalyptic. Now this brings us to the child timeline. This is where I think a lot of people get confused. Or I did anyway. So Zelda returned Link to the past so he could relive his childhood. Link warns the people of Hyrule. They capture Ganon, and so the events of Ocarina of Time never happen in this timeline. Now, two things come of this. First, Link is basically depressed, dejected. He actually ends up leaving Hyrule. He doesn't feel like he really has a purpose. This leads to the events of Majora's Mask, and eventually Link becomes basically a wraith. This is a horrible ending for the hero of time. Maybe even worse than death. Also in this timeline, Ganondorf was never sealed away. They tried to kill Ganondorf, but because he still has the Triforce of Power, and Link, along with the Triforce of Courage, has left, they can't kill Ganondorf. And so this leads to the events of Twilight Princess. And a reincarnated Link is in that game, but this is also a dark game, a dark timeline. Not good. So the results of Link winning are worse than the results of Ganon winning. It resulted in two branching timelines. One where Hyrule is completely destroyed, flooded, and the other where the hero of time becomes a wraith, and we go into the events of Twilight Princess. I'm arguing that Ganon winning was the best ending. Anyway, what do you think? Thanks for sticking with this video. I know it's not the best. I'm trying to learn how to make and edit videos. But if you enjoyed this content, please like it. Consider subscribing for more theories about games. And let me know in the comments what you think. Let's talk about it. Anyway, thanks for joining me, everybody. Oh, I'm a little cow and I don't know what to do. So come explore the universe with Milky McMoo. That's me.